What if I told you there's a city in the world that literally has it all? Incredible mountains, world-class beaches, some of the world's best restaurants and bars, vibrant culture, the nicest people, epic adventures, including safaris, and even more. Welcome to Cape Town, South Africa. I'm going to share everything you need to know before you visit Cape Town and how to plan the best visit possible. Hi, I'm Becca. I'm a world traveler and a world travel advisor. I've traveled to over 40 countries and 5 continents around the world, and many of these I visited multiple times, including South Africa. This is actually my 6th visit to Africa right now, and here I am in Cape Town. Can't wait to share all of these inside tips with you, everything I wish I would have known before visiting Africa for the first time, so that you can have an incredible trip here as well. I remember being so intimidated and overwhelmed by how many options of places there are to go, but now that I've visited a couple different places and I've been here many times, I think Cape Town is my #1 recommendation for almost every traveler, and I'm going to tell you why. Cape Town is not just a destination, it's an experience. It's an incredible city that blends city and nature, where the mountains meet the ocean, the people and the culture just feel like a warm hug, and it's an incredible place to come. Here are my top reasons why you should visit Cape Town versus any other city or country in Africa. With Table Mountain and countless parks and game reserves, there is so much nature to enjoy and explore with incredible views. Beaches and coastal drives are some of the most beautiful that I've seen anywhere in the world, and there are too many beaches and not enough days. South Africa and Cape Town are rich in history and culture, and there's lots of opportunities to dive into this and to learn more at museums and with tours. Cape Town is known for having some of the world's best food and restaurants, so visiting here, you're sure to have amazing meals every day. And then, of course, you can't mention South Africa or Africa without mentioning wildlife and adventure. And whether you want to hang out on the beach with penguins, go whale watching, go on an epic safari, there are countless options to have cool adventures. So as I continue to rave about Cape Town, it's essential that I mention the weather, because although Cape Town has amazing weather, the seasons are strong and this could hugely impact your trip. So as someone who comes from the US in the Northern Hemisphere, I always have to get my mind wrapped around the Southern Hemisphere and the seasonal differences. So their summer in the Southern Hemisphere is from December to February, and this is probably the best time to visit Cape Town. It has the best weather, but it also has more crowds and higher prices. Next is fall, which is from March to May. There's fewer crowds, still beautiful weather, and this is a nice time in particular to go to wine farms. Spring is September to November. This is also a beautiful time to come because the weather's really nice. There's wildflowers in bloom, fewer crowds, and still tons to do. The one time that I do not recommend coming, unless it's truly your only option, is the winter, which is from June to August. You're gonna have colder weather, just really not as much to do. It's a bit more budget friendly, but I think you're gonna be missing out on a lot of the most amazing things that make a Cape Town and South Africa trip so rich. I should mention that if you go in late December, kind of between Christmas and New Year's, this is gonna be the most expensive time to visit Cape Town. This list could truly go on forever. There's so much to do here, but I'm gonna highlight some of my favorites. Table Mountain is a must. You can either hike this, which is recommended to go with a guide or in a group, or you can take the cable car up and the cable car down. If you hike, you can take the hike up and then cable car down. Another amazing hike is Lion's Head, which has the most beautiful views, and I would highly recommend you go at either sunrise or sunset. I've done both. I think I prefer the sunrise because you're starting in the dark, you're seeing the stars, and then the sunrise. It's not as crowded as sunset, and it's spectacular. Next is the V&A waterfront, which is a must if you're visiting Cape Town. It's just a nice area with restaurants and shops and some hotels. You could even stay there, but I'll dive into where you should stay soon. I want to touch on are the beaches, which are just spectacular. The water is so vibrant and crystal clear, but also freezing. And because of the country's location, there's beaches on the Atlantic side and the Indian side, as well as a lot of tidal pools, which are kind of like natural cold plunges you can go in. And one beach I should mention is Boulders Beach, where there's penguins hanging out on the beach right next to you and swimming with you. So that is a really cool experience. Is Cape Point and Chapman's Peak Drive. This is a scenic drive along the coast that's just unreal. The views are beautiful. You have to pay a small amount to go, but it's so worth it. To do this, you could either join a tour, hire a driver, or if you rent a car, take your own car. In country, Cape Town is famous for its wine farms, and there are so many to choose from and to explore here. You could even do part of your trip in the city and part of your trip staying on a wine farm, which would be a really nice experience. But otherwise, there's so many close by. You can go just for the afternoon, get some snacks, get some drinks, and enjoy. It's such a relaxing and beautiful thing to do. Safaris and game drives. Most people, when they're coming to Africa, have a dream of going on safari and seeing the wildlife. In Cape Town, there's options that are really close to the city that you can do for a day trip or even half a day trip, where you leave in the morning, you have lunch, and you come back in the evening, and you still will see a ton of stuff. But I think it's well worth flying to one of the national parks nearby, spending at least 2 nights, but 2 to 4 nights there, going on game drives every day, staying in a beautiful lodge. This is one of the most incredible experiences I've had of anywhere in the world, was going on safari in Africa. Next, I'm going to share where you should stay in Cape Town. Cape Town has options for every traveler and every budget, and there's lots of different neighborhoods with different vibes and different experiences. So I'm going to dive into each of those. Camps Bay is my top recommendation. It's on the beach. You'll have amazing views of the sea, and you can easily walk out of your hotel or your Airbnb to the beach, to some seaside cafes and restaurants and bars. So that's my top recommendation. Next is in the City Bowl or in the V&A waterfront, which is a great option for first timers. There's lots of options at every budget, and you'll be able to go access great restaurants and bars right out your front door. Sea Point and Green Point, similar to Camps Bay, it's on the ocean. You'll have beautiful views. There's a really nice promenade to run and walk on right in front, and it's a little bit more chill than Camps Bay. Next is Woodstock, which is a really hipster and artsy area, and this might be a more budget-friendly option, but I believe you can find something that's budget-friendly or within budget in any of these neighborhoods. And lastly is Constantia, which is actually where I am now, and it's a really quiet area. There's tons of beautiful wine farms. It's a great place for families, and it's also will be a beautiful experience if you choose to stay there. If you need help picking an Airbnb, finding a hotel, or even a hostel, please let me know in the comments or message me. As a travel advisor and as a certified FORA advisor, I have partners with hotels all over the world, and I think personally it's my superpower to find very valuable, budget-friendly stays around the world. So I would be happy to help you, no matter what your budget is or what your travel style is. I would be happy to help. Okay, next I want to talk about the food and drink scene in Cape Town, because it's world famous and there's some really special things that you can try while you're here. So number 1 is a braai, which is South African's staple meal. In the US, we would just call this a barbecue with grilled meats. But for a braai in South Africa, you can go to a restaurant or a hotel or find an event on Get Your Guide. But the best experience is if you can go to someone's house and enjoy it with locals. Food that's really famous here is Cape Malay curry. It's flavorful, spicy, warm. It's such a nice thing to try. Next is biltong, which is kind of like beef jerky in the US, but it's South Africa's version. And I would say it's even better, and there's so many varieties to choose from. Of course, local wines, this is a must try. They're beautiful and delicious, and you can do a wine tour to learn more about the process while you're here. One of the most surprising things to me when I first arrived in South Africa was how essential having tea and biscuits is in their culture, but biscuits are rusks. And so that's also a really nice afternoon tradition and routine to adopt while you're visiting. Safety is definitely a concern in Cape Town, and it's something that you must be aware of as a tourist. But my number 1 tip is to use trusted transportation. My number 2 tip, maybe it should be number 1, is to not walk alone at night, and you'll be completely fine. I've spent weeks here. I have never run into an issue, and it's just because I follow these 2 rules. But for trusted transportation, I always use Uber. There's other services like Bolt available as well. My local friends here have told me to use Uber Black over Uber X just for an extra layer of security, but I've also used Uber X and it's been fine. And I avoid public transportation while I'm here. And if I wasn't staying with friends, I would definitely rent a car because you do a lot of driving in Cape Town and in South Africa, and there's so much to explore, and to have a car means you can go at your own pace, you can linger longer in some places, and the driving is actually pretty tourist friendly. So at all, visiting here for the first time, the city stole my heart, and I thought about Cape Town every day after I left, and I'm so grateful to be back here, and I'm so excited for you to experience the city as well. And if you want one-on-one support planning your trip, I offer travel planning services, and I would be happy to work with you. So feel free to message me, find me on my website or on Instagram, or comment below. If you found this guide helpful, please give this video a like, subscribe to my channel for more travel content, and drop a comment if you have any travel questions about Cape Town or anywhere else in the world. I would be happy to answer and share more of my experiences. And if you've been to Cape Town and you have favorites or you have more tips, also drop those in the comments for other travels, and I'll see you in my next video. Thanks for watching. Peace.